prepared something for the back to the Patach Eliyahu, but I want to go back to the RASHASH Siddur again. As long as we started working on that. Well, now what we're talking about, when you say the word Baruch, then he shows us all different kinds of things that are going on and talks about them. Now we're on page. Let me get this up here. We're on page Tov Kuf Ayin Tes. And we said that there's a concept there that we haven't dealt with too much of, the Sivas HaChochma being split into two, one for the Nook, 16 and 16, and then Zah gives one of his 6 over to the Nook, which gives her 22. Now where we're at right now is underneath the line which says Vav and Vav, which I guess is coming from Zeranpin is the 6. That's what I think that means. The Chaber, and the purpose of this is the Chaber, the Yud, and the K, that's the Yak, the Mochim, which are Mochim. In the Vav K, which he says are Tiferes and Malchus, makes them sound like they're what you're bringing Mochim into the Kalim, or the Partsufim of Tiferes and Malchus. And it produces the name of Avaya. Then he says the next picture that he has is the Chaber, the Yak, the same thing, the Mochim, Im Vav Ke Tiferes Malchus. It's really pretty much sounds the same, what he says, and it comes to the gematria of Mu, which is also the gematria of the Milui of Av. So it comes to the gematria of Mu, and he says, here's Yud and K. Those Yud K are the Mochin. He's showing it like that. Now, why exactly, and why this is doing here, in addition to what we heard up above, he says he's showing the Mochim in the Milui form, and then he shows them going into the parts of Ozun, so to the Vav K. And then it says the Milui, the Av, Zera Ma'aba. So the Milui of Av that we're talking about, here's the Milui now. It's going to be 46 again. Me'aba u'mechochma dezer anpin l'nuk. So this is what's going to wind up going, these letters, into the Nuk. Now, he had said that when you take the 6 Sivos and you give them to the Nook, then she's going to have 22. And so now he has some things in there that are helpful. I don't know how often or ever whether you do look at the RASHASH Siddur on the Kriya Shema Lamita over there. And also we see this in other places, some stuff we're about to see. But there's no explanations for it or no background for it, then there's a little background here. So he says a number of Vav, he says what we're going to do is with a Hamshek Ha'aras, just gradients from the Kaf Beif Aspan Yisod the Ima the Nook. So there are 22 letters in the Yisod of Ima, and they're going to go to the Nook. Now the background on that I don't have at the moment. Let's read just a little bit more. We'll leave number Zion here. Number Zion says, L'hamshek ha'aras chamesh gevurus miyisod de'ima. So here what it is that you're going to send it down from the Yisod of Ima. And first thing he shows us is Mansapach. So he said 5 gevuros. Mansapach, he's going to say later on, is also 5 gevuros. 2 different kinds of 5 gevuros. So he has a little aleph down below the picture. And he says, Aleph Amansapak v'chamesh avayos nosfo al pi Hakavanot the whole. This is in addition to what we see in the whole time. I don't know the whole that well, so I hear what he said. He says, this is a kavanah that you're going to bring this. And where's it going to go? It's going to go to the Gimel Kli Yisod Dazan. Now, we've seen this a bunch of times, so we understand there's 3 kalim here, inside, outside and middle, inside, middle, and outside, and here they are. One is almost like Havaya Adnid, but it's not. It's missing the haze. And then you have a Rivua of Shakai, and then you have the plain Shakai, whatever those mean, but those are the Kalim. Let's look over, let me see how I can do this 1 second. Okay, those are the Kalim. And it says, L'hamshek ha'aras ha'kaf beif asbim yisod the ima the nuk b'vucha b'shar kavanos. He gives the sight Russians down there at Reish Drosh Vav. Gavod the saying the Atah La'alos as Malchus Mehechul Kodei Kadoshim. What we want to do here is bring this shefa from these letters, these 22, Mehechul Kodei Kadoshim to the Malchus, which is now sitting at the very top of Bria, which is mashma that we're talking about the morning time. El Olam Hatzilus, so they tried to bring that down and bring them up. But she has to get these gevuros because the gevuros are what builds the nook. How does this happen? That the Yisod is Zag goes down from Atzilus, the Bria, Mashpia Asham as a Malchus, and there it's Mashpia to Malchus. Now he says that I think we saw in the Miluyim that there's a machlokas on this. Because those who say that doesn't happen, because Zer doesn't leave at Silas. But here it says he does. Because we're also talking about the Kriyas and Zekifas. So that's Shaykh here. So he said, al shefa ha'hei gevuros the das sheyored miyasol the malchus. So that's what happens now. Before that, yesh the kaven al shefa kaf beis asvan. Before that, you have to understand that comes first. First, you have the 22 letters comes down. Then comes from the das of Ima, I guess, these five. Hanimsach b'yisod that's found in Rishav the nishbel the malchus, and ultimately it winds up in malchus. Val yedei kaf beis osius elu tuchu lichiyos acher kach parts of Shaar. Exactly, again, what does the 22 letters do for her? But he brings her into a, it says the answer, but I'm not sure that I got the indication, the inductive understanding of what actually it accomplishes. Parts of Shaar, Ba'aloso, Atzilus, and then it makes it into a complete parts of, and she's ready to go up to Atzilus. So he said, key, binyan parts of a malchus, who are yedei kaf beis osius, beseder atbach kanoida. Now, if you take atbach, I don't know how this works. Actually, probably should know because I should be going over to the weekday siddur where he has the atbach laid out there after what is it, konei hakol. So exactly what goes on over there needs a review for me. But at any rate, the 22 letters using the system of atbach. Now, that's what gets me is atbach has 18 letters. 9 on one side, 9 on the other. So how you get the 22 out of it, that's a little trick that's probably over there. I don't know. Let's look at number Zion, where number Zion says, Laham shecha aras, chamesh gevurs miyisod, the imel, the gimel, kli yisod, the zer anpin, v'sham na'azach havaya achas, and there it makes one havaya. After yesh the kaven al shefa ha'hei gevuros, so now he says this is what it is. Think about what's coming down here. The shefa ha'kavuros, the das shuhu sod ko av kal. Now this is one of the things that appears in different places. I know that it's in, after you say the word Baruch in the Shemona Esrei regularly, you also see this phrase here, that is ku av kal. Shegimatria Baruch. And what are we talking about? The first word is Baruch, and somehow this gets generated. Let's see about Klauhu. The general idea is like this. Ki hashecha wrote in the hamshech shefa mesuyim, a certain amount of shefa, v'bechina achaz l'charvito. Tzarek l'kaven es a bechina shanos and es a shefa. So we have to go to that aspect, which is actually the ultimate place. I think it means ultimate place that is given from. And then you also have the idea of the aspect of what's going to receive the shefa. Now, what does that tell me here? So there's three things. One is the giver of the shefa, one is the receiver of the shefa, and then the shefa. This is what you want to do. You want to give the shefa from the das really coming out of the das of Ima. Into miyisod shevadat miyisod the atzilus ela malchus the atzilus tzarek lakaven al shloshtam shehei sod ku av kal. Now he says that he put them together. It's in order for you to get from a higher place to the lower place, you have to use this system, which is called system or whatever it is, which is a gematria Baruch. So you have to use ku av kal. Kitachila, so it says like this at the beginning. 1 second. He says, Ki techila, nechshavos ha-he gevuros, bebechinas havaya achad ba'achad bilvad. So we take let's say the first thing we do is we consider them to be like just one havaya. Sheyored mi yisod de'ima el yisod de'zer anpin. So there's one havaya there. V'zecha kavanas, the concept of ku, because there's one havaya. So the first thing, I'm not sure whether he means, let me see, he says havaya achas, we consider, what's the word? Techila nechshavos. He says to consider it to be, the hey gevura says one gevura. So you're bringing of a gevura, inside the gevura wants to say there's 5. Let me see how this works. V'zecha kavanas ku. V'achar kach yored the shefa miyasod dezer anpin l'das denuk. Meschalak sham l'chamesha havaya shebegematria kal. So now you have ku and kal. V'achar kach mispashtim gam b'shlosha kavim chagat denuk. And then it goes into the 3 kavim of the chagat denuk. So it got into the nuk and went to her das, and it went in down there and it split into 3. Then asach havaya b'his pashtos shenikro ribua. And it what? V'na'asim havaya b'his pashtos, as it spreads down the, he says, down the 3 lines, he says, shenikro rivua, like this, yud, yud ke, vav, yud ke, vav ke. And it has a gematria. What's the gematria of that? Av. Now the way he did it was he has kal, av. I like ku av kal better, but the actual way that it works in the sequence is ku kav al. So he says ku kal av. Amnam is Rosh Hashanah. So when you come to Rosh Hashanah, mekubanu shalosh pa'amim kavaya b'rivua shebegematria raya. So let's go back. In Rosh Hashanah, we have to understand that what we're dealing with here is 3 times 72. And since once it gets inside to the nook and it splits, then you're going to have these 3 revuas that are coming down. 3 revuas, and the gematria of 72 is going to give you the rayo again. Each one of them has 1 kavaya, which is going to be mishpat of mispashet in the form of a revua. So he wants this important thing he wants to tell us. So where we're at right now, and what time do we have today? Same time, 25?
Yes.
Okay. V'sham na'azach havaya achas. So there it becomes 1 havaya. This is what he's telling us. So we just read the story. The question is I did a lot of this with. I try to learn Shaar HaKodesh with Yaakov Cronenberg. We spent a lot of time on it. And over there you see the daya looks like the way that's put into the book that we got through Rabbi Memran. It's that 4-volume set. It seems like when you get to the daya is like little bits and pieces of something, very difficult to put it, to put the explanations together. And he gives you these explanations on the side of the drawings that he makes, which are the tikunim. And we worked on them. That's all I could say. It's the same thing happening here. So, but we're in better shape now than way back when. That's part of what he said. Then he says that the mansachah, it becomes now we have mansapach plus 26. And we're going to have a note on that. And then he said, and from there, this mansapach, which is also the 5, but why he has it as 5, the 5 letters mansapach and an avaya, it's 280 plus what's mansapach? I think it's 280, or is it 288? I forget. So he says, and didn't add it up. So he said, b'sham the das the nook, and there goes the das and the nook. V'sham eschalekas lahei havayas gematria kal, and there in the nook it was 1 havaya. That's that havaya there. So the sequence is going back again to the number ches again. First, you have the mansapach as reminiscent of the 5 gevuros, and they turn into just 1 havaya. That's the first one, number 8. And then they go into the das of the nook. So here you're at now, the chazit is zeranpin coming out into the zak das of the nook, which is on his backside. V'sham eschalekas lahei havayas, and there it divides into 5, and there you have it there, number tes. And then you go to number Yud, and Yud says, the Misham, Mispashtem B'Chagat Shalom, then it spreads down her 3 lines. But Bechinas Revua Gematria Av, this spreads down in each one of the lines. Vare Ko Kal Kal Av Gematria Baruch. Now I know that they have that in the RASHASH Sidur. It's something to, for the weekday, the one that we worked on with Rabbi Memran. And I know they have that. Now let's see, where would I be? I would be number Tess over here. We're going to finish up here and see if we can get over there and try to understand the Ramak, which I couldn't understand the last time. And let's see, Umisham, the Das, the Nuk, the Sham is Chalachas, the Hera, Vavais, Gematria Kal. The Hakavanot Kal. So this is what we want to understand about what's Pshat and Kal. The Heinrich HaShefa, Yored Mi Yisod, the Zer Anpin, the Das and Nuk, Shemitz Chalek Sham the Chamisha Chavayos Shavagematria Kal. So that's the second part of the Shefa coming into the Nuk. Umisham Mispashtem B'Chagat Shalom Bechinas Revua Gematria Av, and then it spreads into the Chagat, and it's going to be the aspect of Avs. V'zecha Kavon is Av. So it is one Havaya, splits into 5, splits into the 3 lines. The hind of Hashefach Yored Mi Yisod the Zer Anpin the Das the Nuk. Mispat B'Shlosha Kavim Chagas the Nuk. So that's what the Das does. It spreads it down into the 3 lines. The Na'asach HaGavai B'Hispashel Shenik Ravua. And this form, Yud Vav, Shigematria Av, that gives you 3 Avs. 3 times Av is going to be Rayo. Of a ROSH HASHANAH B'Kavanim Shlosh Pa'amim Avaya, so we have the idea, but in the Revua form, Shebegematria Rayo. Ki B'Kol Echad Machashlosh Echad V'Kavim Mitzpashet Avaya Achaz B'Revua, because each one of them has that aspect. Okay, so I think that I'll stop here, because even though that I think I'm very happy that I'm able to do this up to this point. I don't know what day is today. Today is the 17th of Elul. Thank you, Hashem. Okay, so let's stop this here and make a mark.